14. The new competition. If you follow your why, then others will follow you. Bang! The gun fires and the race is on. The runners take off across the field. It rained the day before, and the ground is still damp. The temperature is cool. It is a perfect day for running. The line of runners quickly forms a pack. A school of fish. They come together as one. They move as one. The pack sets a pace to maximize their energy for the whole race. As with any race, in a short period of time, the stronger ones will start to pull ahead, and the weaker ones will start to fall behind. But not Ben Cummin. Ben was left behind as soon as the starter gun sounded. Ben's not the fastest runner on the team. In fact, he's the slowest. He has never won a single race the entire time he's been on the Hannah High School cross-country track team. Ben, you see, has cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy, a condition often caused by complications at birth, affects someone's movement and balance. The physical problems endure for a lifetime. Misshapen spines create a twisted posture. Muscles are often withered and motor reflexes slow. Tightness in the muscles and joints also affect balance. Those with CP often have an unsteady gait, their knees knock and their feet drag. To an outsider, they may seem clumsy or even broken. The pack pulls farther and farther ahead, while Ben falls farther and farther behind. He slips on the wet grass and falls forward into the soft earth. He slowly picks himself up and keeps going. Down he goes again. This time it hurts. He gets back up and keeps running. Ben won't quit. The pack is now out of sight and Ben is running alone. It is quiet. He can hear his own labored breathing. He feels lonely. He trips over his own feet again, and down he goes yet another time. No matter his mental strength, there is no hiding the pain and frustration on his face. He grimaces as he uses all his energy to pull himself back to his feet to continue running. For Ben, this is part of the routine. Everyone else finishes the race in about 25 minutes. It usually takes Ben more than 45 minutes. When Ben eventually crosses the finish line, he is in pain and he is exhausted. It took every ounce of strength he had to make it. He's bruised and bloodied. He is covered in mud. Ben inspires us indeed. But this is not a story of when the going gets tough. The tough get going. This is not a story of when you fall down, pick yourself up. Those are great lessons to learn, without a doubt, but we don't need Ben Cummin to teach us those lessons. There are dozens of others we can look to for that, like an Olympic athlete, for example, who suffered an injury just months before the Games only to come back to win a medal. Ben's lesson is deeper. Something amazing happens after about 25 minutes. When everyone else is done with their race, everyone comes back to run with Ben. Ben is the only runner who, when he falls, someone else will help pick him up. Ben is the only runner who, when he finishes, has 100 people running behind him. What Ben teaches us is special. When you compete against everyone else, no one wants to help you. But when you compete against yourself, everyone wants to help you. Olympic athletes don't help each other. They're competitors. Ben starts every race with a very clear sense of why he's running. He's not there to beat anyone but himself. Ben never loses sight of that. His sense of why he's running gives him the strength to keep going, to keep pushing, to keep getting up, to keep going, and to do it again and again and again. And every day he runs, the only time Ben sets out to beat is his own. Now think about how we do business. We're always competing against someone else. We're always trying to be better than someone else. Better quality, more features, better service. We're always comparing ourselves to others, and no one wants to help us. What if we showed up to work every day simply to be better than ourselves? What if the goal was to do better work this week than we did the week before, to make this month better than last month? For no other reason than because we want to leave the organization in a better state than we found it? All organizations start with why, but only the great ones keep their why clear year after year. Those who forget why they were founded show up to the race every day to outdo someone else, instead of to outdo themselves. The pursuit for those who lose sight of why they are running the race is for the medal or to beat someone else. What if the next time when someone asks, "Who's your competition?" we replied, "No idea." What if the next time someone pushes, "Well, what makes you better than your competition?" we replied, "We're not better than them in all cases." And what if the next time someone asks, "Well, why should I do business with you then?" we answer with confidence, because the work we're doing now is better than the work we were doing 6 months ago. And a work we'll be doing 6 months from now will be better than the work we're doing today. Because we wake up every day with a sense of why we come to work. We come to work to inspire people to do the things that inspire them. Are we better than our competition? If you believe what we believe, and you believe that the things we do can help you, then we're better. If you don't believe what we believe, and you don't believe the things we can do will help you, then we're not better. Our goal is to find customers who believe what we believe and work together so that we can all succeed. We're looking for people to stand shoulder to shoulder with us in pursuit of the same goal. We're not interested in sitting across a table from each other in pursuit of a sweeter deal. And here are the things we're doing to advance our cause, and then the details of how and what you do follow. But this time it started with why. Imagine if every organization started with why. Decisions would be simpler, loyalties would be greater, trust would be a common currency. If our leaders were diligent about starting with why, optimism would reign and innovation would thrive. As this book illustrates, there is precedence for this standard. No matter the size of the organization, no matter the industry, no matter the product or the service. If we all take some responsibility to start with why and inspire others to do the same, then together we can change the world. And that's pretty inspiring. If the book inspired you, please pass it on to someone you want to inspire. Afterward, be a part of this movement, share your vision of the world. Before any person or organization can take the steps necessary to be a leader, we must first agree on a definition of what a leader is. Leadership is not about power or authority. Leadership is decidedly more human. Being a leader requires one thing and one thing only: followers. A follower is someone who volunteers to go where you are going. They choose to go not because they have to, not because they were incentivized to, not because they were threatened to, but because they want to. The question is, why would anyone follow you? If an individual or organization hopes to assume the responsibility of leadership, a responsibility that is given, not taken, then they must think, act, and speak in a way that inspires people to follow. Leadership is always about people. No one leads a company. A company is a legal structure. You can run a company, you can manage an organization, but you can lead only people. And that requires two things. Imagine we're out on a boat tour with a group of strangers and the boat gets stranded on a deserted island. How will we get off the island? Some people are panicking, some people are starting to form little cliques to figure out how to get off the island. Then, all of a sudden, one person stands up and announces, "I will lead." We like that. We're social animals and we respond well to leaders. Our new leader moves to the front of the group and asks, "Right, who's got ideas?" "Good idea," our leader says. Another person pipes up, "We should forage for food in case we're stuck here for a while." "Also a good idea," says the leader. "We should build a shelter because we're going to need protection from the elements." Our leader gives a thumbs up and says, "That's also a good idea." "Okay," he continues, "let's take a vote." And at point, someone in the group stands up and says, "As we were coming into shore, I saw some masts and smoke out on the west side of the island. There must be a fishing village there. If we can get there, we can get help. We're going to have to go through the thick woods to get there, though, and I can't do it alone. So if there is anyone who will join me, I'd be grateful." If anyone doesn't want to go, he says, "Don't worry, we'll come back to get you when we find help." The question is, whom do you want to follow? Do you want to follow the first guy or the second guy? Both are confident. Both care that we get off the island. The answer is so obvious, it's almost a silly question. We want to follow the second guy. Keep in mind, no one else saw the fishing village. There are no photographs and no research. All we have is the undying belief of this one person of a world that exists in the future and his ability to communicate it in a way that lets us imagine it as. Clearly, all leaders must have two things. They must have a vision of the world that does not exist, and they must have the ability to communicate it. The second leader could have simply stood up with the same vision of this fishing village and simply announced, "This won't work," and walked away in the direction of the village. He would have been a visionary, for sure, but without the ability to communicate his vision, he cannot be a leader. We all work with people like this. They walk around with all the answers to all the questions, frustrated that no one else gets it. No one can see what they can see. They are visionaries for sure, but they are not leaders. There are also those who have the gift of gab, the amazing ability to communicate. But absent a vision, they are just great communicators and not leaders. The second leader could have also stood up and given a rousing speech about the importance of us working together. We would have felt wonderful and excited, but we would still have no clue how to get off the island. Leadership requires two things: a vision of the world that does not yet exist and the ability to communicate it. The question is, where does vision come from? And this is the power of why. Our visions are the world we imagine, the tangible results of what the world would look like if we spent every day in pursuit of our why. Leaders don't have all the great ideas. They provide support for those who want to contribute. Leaders achieve very little by themselves. They inspire people to come together for the good of the group. Leaders never start with what needs to be done. Leaders start with why we need to do things.